Closing down. Bam. We on the Facebook. We on the YouTube. So
Yeah.
I'm waiting for my cha-ching. Usually my cha-ching happen in a second here.
Going live in what's 30 seconds.
Right. So bam. All right, there go my cha-ching. So when y'all hear that cha-ching, y'all know we live here. Y'all welcome to the Power of Ownership podcast. This is your host, Brandon B. Dixon. I got my special guest host right here, Steven Contreras.
Hey guys, how you doing?
And I got a special friend of mine, that we've been friends since high school, man, Ryan Gray.
How you doing?
So he's a special guest. We're gonna talk about so we got a real special treat for y'all, but we gotta do some promoting right fast if y'all don't mind. So let me go ahead and introduce myself, and then we're gonna do a little bit of promoting, and we're gonna get right to it. Again, my name is Brandon B. Dixon. I'm a serial entrepreneur, a published author. My book, Sales the Nucleus of Any Profession, is out right now. So y'all need to go ahead and get a copy of that right now. It's selling quite well. I need your help to get it to the best sellers list. So go ahead and get you 2-3 copies if possible. Also, right now is the best time. I'm gonna go ahead and merge all this together tonight. Right now is the best time to get a mortgage. The rates are crazy. Right now, I've done the last 2-3 days. We've done so many refis at record lows. It's ridiculous. I can't put any numbers out because then I'm gonna get tagged, but it's ridiculously low right now. So www.HOC Mortgage right now if y'all want to apply. So go ahead and apply right now. If y'all like what we're doing, go ahead and hit us up on the Cash App, the Power of Ownership. $, the Power of Ownership. Steve has his own Cash App as well. $ Steven C. 1234. Also, if you want to book me for consultation on a Zoom call like this, you wanted me to go ahead and consult your business, or you want me to train your sales staff or whatever, go to www.billionaireloanofficer. That's the place to book me right there. Also, you can call me 832-775-8357. You can call me 24/7. Also at Billionaire Loan Officer on all social media, so you can hit me there as well. Steven is Steven _ Contreras _ 90. Let's go ahead and go with the introductions, the round robin introductions. And Steve, I'm gonna go ahead and start with you, and then Ryan, then we can go ahead and get started. Steve.
Hey guys, Steven Contreras here. I'm a geologist in Houston, Texas. Kind of like a Renaissance man, studier of the arts and sciences. Trying to make the world a better place. Spreading peace and love, and trying to make the world go round. And tonight is gonna be fun because we get to talk about the election of the free world coming up. So it's gonna be great.
Right. Ryan, since you're the special guest, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell them, who are you, what you do, so on and so forth.
I'm Ryan Gray. I'm in logistics. I have my own logistics business in New Orleans. I'm a novice investor. I keep up with politics and the current events, and that's pretty much it. It's family guy, kids.
Right. So I think novice is kind of modest, man. As far as the stocks, man. So you kind
of. I'm pretty well versed in the stock market.
Yeah.
I wouldn't exactly say I'm a fiduciary, but yeah, I've been investing for a while.
What do y'all think is better? What y'all like better? The 3 even this right here, the far away, wide angle? What y'all like?
I like the far away because on the other 3, sometimes your face goes off the screen, Brandon.
Gotcha. I move too much. I need to stay stationary, right?
Calm
if
down.
I stay stationary, you like the 3?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
I guess that's fine.
Got the closest. I just need to. I'll be rocking back and forth. Let me stabilize myself right fast. All right, so let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. I wanted to talk about today was the big topic. We have one of the biggest elections probably in our lifetime. A lot of stuff at stake. A lot of different personalities. I've never seen our country as more divided as it's been right now. I'm a Generation X. Ryan and I are the same age. We grad 94?
95.
95. You're younger than me as well, but
Yeah.
we came up in the 80s. You know, Ronald Reagan. Even if it was a Republican, everybody was behind this Republican. Then it switched in the 90s to the Clinton years, where it was everybody was behind Clinton. Clinton won the landslide.
Mm-hmm.
Then everything split in 2000. That was the beginning of the hyper partisanism. That's what they call it, right? Partisanship. Everybody's kind of split to get into their own little nooks and crannies. But next, I seen everybody kind of stood behind Obama on the first and second one, and then we get 2000 and 2004 split,
Mm-hmm.
and then everybody stood behind Obama. Same, for the re-election. Then we got another surprise. We had the biggest surprise, the biggest upset at 16.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's 2020. Everybody, is predicting Biden's going to win it. I mean, that's what most of the polls say, except one. I'm gonna get into that a little bit later. One poll is predicting that he's going to lose. My thing is this: I'm not really a political guy. I'm not going to tell you who I voted for. I already early voted. Did you vote already, Steve?
I did vote. I voted last
I
Monday.
voted.
Right. So we all voted.
Yeah.
We all cast. We're not requiring you to tell who you vote for, who you voted for, whatever. But my thing is, I'm gonna open up the panel. What do you see as far as on both sides? If go into a little bit on each side, if Trump wins and Biden wins, what do you foresee? And I thought off with Steve. Go ahead. If Trump wins, what do you see? If Biden wins, what do you see?
Well,
For the next years.
Okay, just for as far as it goes as election day, I think 50% of the country, no matter who wins and who loses, will be upset, no matter what, because everyone is riding it pretty hard. But if Trump wins, I think we see the economy keeps on going up and up. Like if it wasn't for coronavirus, we had one of the best and stable economies going into it. Everyone was working, everyone had jobs, really good, successful growth. If Biden wins, I don't know. It's going to be a lot harder because if they reinforce the regulations, on the companies, that's the only reason why they're staying here is because he cut the regulations and the high tax mandates, and if the regulations go back into place, all the companies are just going to jump ship and leave again. Like there's no doubt about it. They promise all these jobs and everything, but I mean, if the companies don't want to stay here, they're not going to stay here.
Gotcha. Ryan, so I'm gonna give you the same question, real quick. If Trump win and Biden win, what you see in the next couple of years?
I think it's all about how you're going to leverage your investments moving forward. Politically, I don't want to get into that, but I would say Trump has done a great. He's did great for the economy. Any sitting president would have had problems with the pandemic. I don't care who you are. Some people love him, some people don't. But when it comes down to the economy, he's pretty head on. But if he's not elected, I would move my investments away from the industrials and fossil fuels, some of which we call your recovery stocks, and I would move more into more innovative products, some more fintech. I would get into. I'll lean to more tech or renewable energies. I'll move away from fossil fuels because it seems as though the Democrats, that's where they're heading toward. They're leaning toward
Green Deal, the new Green Deal.
Right. Yeah, I guess you could call it Green Deal, but solar, wind. Like we just had a power outage right here in the southeastern part of Louisiana.
Right.
We had a Hurricane Zeta. Good thing about. But a bad thing about wind and solar is you can't plug a generator into a windmill. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it needs to have a balance between both. You can't come in and just snowball the country or snowball the market and just go everything green. It has to be a transition. I'm a fan of Tesla. I'm a fan of NIO. There's a lot of different stocks out there. There's one called TAN. It's an ETF. There's a balance there between the industrials and the oil and gas, and you can't just kill that industry. It's going to affect the economy. Too many jobs, man. Mm-hmm. But I do believe that Joe Biden understands that, and being that he's not, I don't think he's all the way left wing. I think he's somewhat, centrist. And that's why he has that appeal, from nationwide. He's probably would have been, he is Trump's toughest competitor out of the bunch of people that they had running against him. And nobody else would have held accountable to Trump,
Right.
I think, I was just going to say, I think Bernie Sanders would have had the millennial vote no matter what. And that's why it's so odd that they threw Biden up there, because the millennials are the highest voting percentage right now in this country. And it's strange to me that they're pushing Biden again.
But not to interject, but unfortunately, you've seen in the primaries that the millennials, they don't turn out in elections. And it's happened for Bernie twice. It's the seniors of our society that will really get to the polls, take it seriously, and cast their ballots. We can't speak for all millennials, but historically speaking, the millennials, they don't turn out in huge numbers. They're great for enthusiasm, crowd sizes and things like that. But the weather's bad. The wind blows wrong. They might not show up to the polls the way you need them to show up for the polls, So you got to really get behind them to encourage them to get to the polls. And that's a great thing to have that demographic, but I don't know if it's going to actually win you any elections. I don't know if that's your 4-quarter defense. You know what I mean? I would think that you're over 50. Yeah, over 45, 50-year-old and older, conservatives. If you can cross into that, that territory, you'll be all right.
Definitely. Now, the answer my segment of that same question, and I'm more on the socioeconomic tip, so I'm gonna answer from my lane. If Trump wins, I see that I will make a lot of money. The market will rebound. The economy will probably go, will roar. But what I also see is, just from, a higher perspective.
See, that's being. Why would you say that just because Trump wins, the market is going to soar?
Because when people are programmed that Republicans are going to cut taxes, they're going to cut taxes and they're going to look out for the businessmen. What that does is that stimulates more spending, especially on higher end goods. Mm-hmm. That's what I've dealt with. I've been on high end retail, and I've been in the high end goods space for a long time, for 20 years. That's my background.
But here's the thorn in his side.
Huh?
Suppose he doesn't take control of the Senate. Suppose the Senate goes blue. And, now we're sitting in a situation where he can't.
It's opposed to the people.
Yeah, but who's going to negotiate the stimulus package and get it passed? He's going to get it to the president's desk. The House has power. It has power to purse. Mm-hmm. So, they can get the budget together. December 11 is a crucial date. Look forward to it. Mm-hmm. If they don't pass a physical bill extending our spending, they're going to shut the government down. December 11th. That's like the market is going to crash regardless. So they got to have something there in a lame duck session if he is not elected. We got to get some stimulus out to people, and then we got to get some sort of control over this pandemic. I mean, in some ways, I think it's been politicized and it's been blown out of control. But at the same time, everybody has to get on the same page. Politics aside, if it's wearing masks, if it's social distancing, if it's therapeutics, I have my money set on therapeutics versus a vaccine because, historically looking at vaccines, they just don't come up with vaccines in a year, man. I mean, you got
this type of virus. It's the same strain as SARS, and SARS has been around forever, and they don't have one.
Yeah. So I think that's just all hype, man. Once we get past the elections, you'll see a whole laundry list of therapeutics hitting in the market, and I'm looking to invest in those therapeutics. I'm not, putting all my money, all my eggs in one basket on a vaccine because they just had what was it? Was it Regeneron? I'm not sure. One of the vaccines, no, Regeneron is actually the cocktail that President Trump took in order for him to rebound, which is more like a therapeutic. It's not it's not a vaccine. But one of the vaccines that they recently had trials on, like 2 people died.
Yeah, that's that Bill Gates' vaccine. Yeah.
What did you say?
It was Bill Gates'. It went horribly wrong in that test trials.
Yeah. So when people hear that, it's almost like we could say, "Oh, we got the Tesla cars that can drive themselves." All right, and they just can do that. They autopilot. Autopilot's been around since I was a little boy, man. We had it on video games. I'm saying on cartoons, autopilot. But planes don't fly themselves, and all it would take is for one person, in a Tesla, to slam into a school bus and kill some kids or something like that, and you have a million cars that's perfect, and that one car destroy the whole situation. So you can't afford for those type of mistakes to happen with a vaccine, and for that information to go public. I don't see a vaccine logically coming out in anytime soon. I mean, and then you got to convince people to take it. Yeah, so
yeah.
So
I wanted to get into
that's
that
tall order
a little bit late. I wanted to get in that vaccine a little bit later, but just to finish my point on what I was about to say on the socioeconomic tip. What I see, just getting, back to the first question, and then we're gonna, we're gonna add some more questions as we come in. But just to finish my, we usually go to round robin, you know what I mean? So, just to finish my end, so people can hear what I think what Trump do or what Biden do. Again, my point is, I think markets are sore, but I think on the social tip, I think the atmosphere of the country is going to be even more on edge, because what's going to happen is now people are going to think that the white majority, the silent white majority, is right. And meaning that because Trump, if you look at Trump, and this is my opinion, and I speak my opinion only for myself. This is based on what I see in the market. And when I mean market, I mean my market. I think Trump is just banking on just his base, and his base is not that inclusive of anybody else, any other type of besides Caucasian males. They're not after suburban women anymore. They did Caucasian males or the rural areas. That's kind of what he's after. If he wins.
That's the core of his base, but yeah.
Right. But if he wins, hold on, I'm almost done. And then let me get the buy, and then I'll be done. If he wins, I think that everybody else are going to kind of feel isolated. And I think you're going to see the implosion of the Democratic Party. They're going to have to re-strategize stuff. And I think you're going to see more distress on the street. You're going to see more civil distress. You're going to see more, people are going to be a little bit more agitated. If Biden wins, I think it's going to be the opposite. I think you're going to see more of on the opposite end, more same stuff on the opposite end. You're going to see probably the reemergence of like the Tea Party type deal, where they're going to try to get the Democrats out of there. They might have. I think if Biden wins, he's going to win big and win all the way. They're going to win all the House and the Senate, and then you're going to see a form of like the Tea Party type thing again. And it's going to be the opposite. It's going to be distressed in the rural areas, and then people are going to feel like, the forgotten man again. So we got the Obama years all over again. So either way, it's going to teeter. I don't think Biden is the answer for the great togetherness that we're looking for. Like the Reagan years and the Clinton years, where you got the other party. People might talk smack, but we still was the United States. I don't know if that's ever going to come back again. I don't think either one of the solutions to being one country, one frame of mind, and hey, I got my views, but we're still American. I think that's gone. I think it's what what do you think about that? That's my next question. That's the good segue. What do you feel about that wedge that's been driven within the last election cycle? Do you think that unity will ever come back, or is it completely gone? Steve, I'll let you go in on that.
Well, I believe in unity. I really do. I think America was built, on the strength of unity. The United States of America. Each section of the country it's its own region, its own culture, its own people and customs. We've never all been the same, but we've always standed together. Especially in times of crisis. So it's always really sad to see all this drama, happening around the country.
Right.
It's really sad because what the media does is it polarizes it so much. Like I don't watch TV, like cable television anymore. I used to watch it and live my life by like politics on TV, and then it just kept draining my energy. All the hate and the violence and the spread of violence. Like a good example would be all the school shootings. I know it's horrible, but for a long time that's all you would hear on TV. And more of them would happen. And it's the same idea with the shootings and everything like that. It's really sad, but we have to make sure it's aware that it's out there, but we don't have to cover it every single time. It just drives so much hate.
Well, let me ask you this: besides the media, do you see it on a personal level, like day to day, the division?
A little bit here and there. It's hard because we're different, Brandon. We don't see things the same way as other people, like everyone else does. The sheeple. The sheeple
Right.
watch the TVs, and that's all they hear. That's where they get their information from. So, of course, it's going to be divided. And the thing about the millennials, I hate to bring it back to just my generation, but I mean that's who I associate myself with. We were raised with a system of beliefs. We were raised inside the system in a way. Growing up, most of our parents were working parents. Having two jobs. The single mother is always working. So we grew up in the education system, and they all told us these things like, oh, you go to school, you go to college, get a job, get married, and all these things. And when reality hits, for a lot of millennials, it's the highest record of people living at home, like in their 30s ever, because they were fed a lie to the system. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration is. And so when you watch the television, it doesn't matter if it's Fox News or CNN, they're both polarized in each of their ways. It drives that division. And I do see it in a lot of areas. Like, why can't we walk down the street and you be a Biden supporter and I be a Trump supporter? Like, why can't we just shake hands and get along? You have your views and I have mine. We should all have a conversation, and that's what it is having those conversations. And when people try to shut you off or don't want to hear your opinion, that's when the real divide happens, because you have to communicate. That's what gets everything going. If people stop communicating or they politicize everything and it's left, right, those are marching orders, right? Left, right. It's not about that. It's about trying to unite the country for the greater good, and I guess some people on either side, what is the greater good? That's the question. Do we want to go back into like globalism, in which I'm not a big fan of, or are we going to go into isolationism, which I think is the better route? But
So you're xenophobic?
no, not at all. It's just
Thought
like
you was a Star Trek fan.
no, I understand the idea of globalism. To move forward, there has to be some, as I like to say, automation of the system. But
Right.
the problem is to do that, it has to be a gradual change. You can't just overnight the globalism, because then things get haywire. Like, of course, the federation is probably the best way to go about like everything, but you can't do it overnight.
Well, that took hundreds of years for the Federation to be formed.
but I mean, like, but it's the first step. So like, like it has to be. We all have to be on the same page. Like the federation is like the utopia. On
Right.
Earth,
That's definitely a utopia.
Yeah, but like, so the point is the world is close, but if you throw the change at them all at once, people are going to go back into the reserves
Well,
and be resistant, and that's where they messed up because you can't you can't have that huge change all at once because, like you said, one generation at a time, that slowly transitions to that idea. I love nature, right? So like the idea of nature is my philosophy, and sometimes the globalism and then the globalist mindset, they kind of bypass nature to go and put their own methods into a system of, I call it the technocracy, that the technological changes that are happening. Like you can't have a whole technocracy when the people aren't when people aren't educated, or if they still want to do those jobs that aren't with technology. It's going to scare everybody. So you have to be able to integrate it slowly.
right. Before I go to Ryan on that question, I wanted to interject real fast while I had this point on mind the piggybacks Steve's point before he went on talk about the globalism. I think Bill Maher had an excellent point. He said that I think the reason why we're so divided is because most people used to back in the day used to vote and leave voting in the boot and then come out as Americans. Right now we wear our party on our sleeve too much.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that through the invention of social media and everything like that, I think that's what's causing a chasm between us. We're too open. I think if we go back to, hey, let's keep this secret. Religion, sex. What is it? What's the taboos? Religion, sex, and politics.
Yeah.
Leave those as taboo subjects, and just go to being American. I think we'll be all right. But Ryan, I'll leave that. Let's go with that same question. What do you think? Do you ever think we're going to go back to the United States, or we think we're going to be a bunch of red and blue states headed towards civil war?
I don't know about civil war, but I do feel a change is coming.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that the Republican Party is no longer the Republican Party that we can recognize. Right. It is the party of Trump. Now, the question is, if I would say the old Republicans from the old Republican Party, if they want to just go along with Trumpism and just move in the direction that President Trump has ushered in and follow that lead, or are they going to side with Biden and just so they can hold their nose in the booth and cast a ballot so they can get things back into the way that the thing about Trump is that you can't control this guy. He's gonna. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. He's just not beholden to anyone. And you got people that's been in Washington, have been in politics for 30, 40, 50 years in the military and leaders, and he's just not. It's his way, and he's the leader, and they want. I think they're looking for someone that's more of a team player versus a leader. The ones that are against him that are in the same party, in the Republican Party. So there's a division in the Republican Party as well. There's a lot of Republicans that support Trump. You know what I'm saying? There's some of them that maybe despise him because they wish they were in his position. How did he figure it out? He doesn't have any experience in politics. He comes in and he does usher in one of the better economies that we've seen probably since Richard Nixon, honestly. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you go back,
piggyback action.
What'd you say?
You don't think that was piggyback action?
Yeah, but some of that came from
and what
some groundwork that the Biden and Obama administration, but the tax cuts helped, man.
Right,
it did help.
This is exactly what I said earlier. As soon as Republicans get in office, no matter who's in charge of the Senate, no matter it's the common folk. I'm not talking about the elites. I'm talking about the middle class.
Well, I'll tell you this, man. I did a little survey. I looked not long ago, maybe a couple of days ago. Me, buddy of mine, was looking at, and I believe the last 13 presidents or something like that. Was it freaking with the highest numbers of growth in the S&P 500 were Obama and Clinton. George Bush Sr. only grew it by 51 to 60% in comparison to 210% Bill Clinton. So, I think it's a misnomer to say that the economy can only grow under the leadership of Republicans, because it's shown that it can grow under Democrats as well. And they had a flip-flop like in the 60s where the today people that you would call Republicans were Democrats. Who you call Democrats were Republicans. It's kind of like they did a flip-flop and then moved forward from there. Right. They traded places. So, if you want to argue that, well, Democrats have a long list of having a strong economy. It's just the approach that Trump has is from a business perspective versus a politician. And that's why he's been successful. Now he's not, like he said, he's not beholden to anyone. But the American people, they don't understand business the way the corporate elite will understand business. So that's why, I invest in the market. You're in mortgages, you're in real estate. Not everybody has that sort of involvement. I truly believe if we had a stimulus package, that we didn't have as much division in Washington between the Senate and the House right now, it'll be a landslide victory to his presidency. But it's been a fight trying to get some type of help out to the citizens, and that's why the vote is leaning more toward Biden. Now he says he's fighting for the soul of the country. Yeah, I mean, if that's what you want, or do you want the country to move forward economically? But I think he can accomplish both. But Trump has shot himself in the foot, and if that's his only thing that he's done, the pandemic would have brought any president down. But this particular, the mass, politicizing the mass, and maybe a few gaffes here and there about different, like the lady in Michigan. Some things we could have went without any election year. And if that's, so those are self-inflicted wounds on his part. He, like he said, like Steve said, he's done pretty good for the economy. But I'm not going to say that Democrats won't do as well. It's just that you're going to have to just decide, if you're from an investing standpoint, where you're going to leverage your investments moving forward.
Right. Even the way you could leverage either side. Just depend on what you want to invest in. So your answer is, y'all both convoluted. Yes, are we coming back together, or no? Hell no, we're never coming back together.
I mean,
here's the thing, man. Red and blue states.
Do y'all care?
left wing, right wing, same bird. You know what I'm saying? So is it the same bird? So
ever harmonize again? Would everybody be proud to be an American, or would they have?
I'm proud to be an American. I'm more sure everyone is proud to be American. But
I'm talking about together American, where everybody's American, and you're not considered there's no hyphens no more.
I believe once we can get this economic boot off everybody's throat, people will come together. It's hard to get someone's attention when they're hungry, when they're got pent up frustration, cabin fever. They're inside, locked away for months because of the pandemic. People are getting laid off. All your tourism. I mean, probably half of the country has a customer service or tourism job. Those jobs are gone. Or they can rebound, but we need some type of government assistance. We need a plan. And this is the worst year for this to happen. This isn't an election year for this thing to happen. So, so the repercussions of that, it could just as well be Trump could be out of there. he could be out of there, man. I know a lot of people don't want to accept it. I mean, his supporters, but it's not looking good, man. We got North Carolina, Florida, Texas, Michigan, what else? Ohio, Idaho, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's a big
I don't
one.
think Idaho. I don't. You mean Ohio?
There's Ohio and Idaho. You can look it
Idaho?
up. Yeah.
Iowa.
Iowa. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah. No, Idaho's definitely red. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry. I misspoke. But here it is. He can't afford to lose any of those states.
Right.
And that's a tightrope, you know. I know he pulled rabbits out his behind last time, you know, right. and it worked. But I'm just on the sidelines. I'm waiting to see what's going to happen moving forward. You know what I'm saying?
And I think as unity goes, you know, I mean, I hate to be the pessimist, you know, but I mean, it's just.
You think it's gone?
I think two things. It's like, I mean, I hope it's not like civil war or anything like that, but you know, if they try to come for the guns, it won't be very good, you know. And I don't think Biden, but I don't think Biden's going to last. That's what I'm afraid of. Is like Biden won't last his presidency. I mean,
I agree with that too. I think we got 12 years of Kamala Harris.
I know, and it's just like, and the problem is China too, because China has a big hand on both sides. You know, they always hedge their bets. You know, like we're playing global politics here. You know, the companies and the corporations and the families, they're hedging their bets. They pick sides, and you know, if Trump gets in, he did a lot to stop the movement for the carbon taxes and the Paris Accords and the trade deals. Like I remember the interview when they were talking about the first increase in tariffs in China a few years ago, and the Chinese ambassador was saying like, we were surprised no one called us for 25 years, you know? And it's just like, because Richard Nixon was the first president to open up China to the world, and they grew so fast, and no one called him to get the interest on the investments, you know? And so when that happens, and when, you know, you have the cookie jar and the honey pot and everyone's been feeding into it, and then all of a sudden you close the jar, you know, people are going to be upset, and it's going to cross lines that might not need to be crossed, and that can be very dangerous because honestly, like, the world is shifting, and it comes down to if we're going to go into that technocracy of globalism or going back into, in my personal belief, of nature, you know, because the world is moving, the technology has increased so much, and everything has to shift with that increase. And if it doesn't shift with the increase of the changing period, usually that causes for a major conflict. And that's what they call any war that's not a proxy war. We've been in proxy wars since Vietnam, arguably. The last major conflict was World War II, where the money was divided. Everyone was shifting the finances of the families and the state lives. And when that happens, when the monetary system changes, there's always a major conflict between the global powers. And that could be very, very dangerous. And that's why I think you would have to have a strong leader, or, you know, it could fall to the hands of shifting the currency. Because I think, like you said, it's all about where the money.
So your support. I mean, I take it that you are a avid Trump supporter.
Oh, I am. I've been voting since I was 18. I've been following politics since I'm 18. I'm 30. I voted in every single presidential election, and you know, when I was younger, you know, I'm so anti-war. It's like I love people and culture and everything, and I hate to see people die. And what happened in Afghanistan and Iraq, and that was not right. You know, they did that for political reasons. They did it for the opium in Afghanistan and the oil and Iraq, and people died, and that's the main catalyst of the George Bush wars. You know, no one wants to see that, getting involved in other countries' affairs for what? For opium and oil. You know, it's like, come on, man, we're better than that. We're supposed to be a united human race. You know, we're all one people, and so it's like, to see that, it's scary, because you know, the times are changing, and if the right person doesn't get in, you know, like the global leaders, the global leaders laughed at Obama. They literally didn't even hold the tarmac open for him when he landed in China, and that's they didn't respect him. And you have to have that respect to be able to hold a foot in this world, in this shifting world economy. Honestly.
Well, as far as
So
Obama,
you,
I want to go back, but I want to keep on track of the show. But you don't think, but first of all, I, I don't. The president of this corporation is not necessarily the owner. So let's get that understood first. But putting him as the face
spokesman,
of the
poster child.
corporation, I think it opened up the globalism. It helped us on a international scale as far as this other countries, not China, but other countries. It helped our image. So that's what it's all about. It was just he had no president has really control of any of this. This be all the way honest. He's just the president of the corporation. So he only had this is the way it's set up. There's 3 different branches of the government. No president has total control. It all works as a unit. And then they're not the owners of it. They just govern. They just govern means to control the populace. So let's get this all the way straight. So let's not get rocked to sleep. So they're not the owners of this. He's not the king.
Exactly.
See what I'm saying?
And I think that is part of the problem, that America's been run more like a corporation, like a CEO at the top, president. You have your board of directors or whatnot, and everybody works together. And there's been so much division in Washington that a lot of people are going to get him out of there. You know what I'm saying? As far as on the political side, they're not even looking at what he's done for the economy. He's done some good things for the economy. All right. And then, but it's the average day man, working man may not know that as well. Like I said, there's a lot of propaganda on social media, a lot of propaganda on just the news stations, and people are just consuming that stuff, and they believe in everything they see and everything they hear. Some is true, some is false. But I mean, they're not viewing it through the lens that maybe you, I, or Brandon's viewing it through. They viewing it through emotions, right. Through their emotions.
Mostly people react off of, and this is what I was talking about earlier. I'm saying I'm not speaking through my sense because I have my own mind, but most people react off emotions, and they spend their money off emotion. And according to my business, the people spend more if they feel. I don't know why. I can't explain it to you, but people spend more during a Republican president. It just is what it is. And I've been in business over 20-something years. I'm just going through how my business is affected. With larger tickets, houses and larger ticket purchases. People will, with money, medium, upper middle class people, which is pit of millionaires on down, will hold on to their money and pinch more pennies during the Obama years. In fact, like I said, this is what it is. Now, I'm not saying he's not. Overall, did he grow? Did lower class people get more? Did he make the umbrella bigger? Yes. But I'm talking about those people that hold the gatekeepers. The real upper middle class, the lower upper class. That's the real spenders, the real consumers. That relates to me. Am I making sense?
Yes.
They hold on to their bucks, and they're not gonna go ahead. They're not gonna go ahead and spend that extra $10,000. They're not gonna go ahead and buy that extra house. This is what it is, and they'll wait. They'll hold out, it just is what it is. And I just see the trend. So I want to get to the next question. I don't want to keep it too long. The next question I want to go with everybody, and I want to open it up. Going round robin. Actually, we'll go back the other way this time. We'll go Ryan, you first, and then we'll go to Steve. as far as since y'all really don't want to answer the unity question,
Listen.
I
Unity
think
is almost the quote, my man. The quote, my man Will Smith, that it's always been there. The division's always been there, but now it's being broadcast.
It's televised, yeah.
It's being televised, so people can with user friendliness of your cell phone devices and social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. This guy Sean King. It's going to be hyper analyzed more, but it's always been there. It's always been prevalent, and it's making more people conscious of what's going on. So they're reacting in more extreme ways, more extreme manners. It was a sleeping beast. Right. It's been, so it's been there.
The reason why
we still Americans.
My next question is about race. So you think who you think a Trump victory or a Biden victory will be better for race relations going going forward? And I open that up to Ryan, then I'll go to Steve on that. Who do you think, if Trump wins, do you think race relations will be better, or if you think
it froze up, man,
Biden wins, race relations will be better, or none of the above, or do we just relate? Like you said, it's just gonna be there.
I think we're gonna be it's gonna be a mess either way. I think it's gonna be a mess either way, given the state that the country's in. We're divided, and it's not looking good, man. I can't think of a scenario after the election, whoever wins the election, that either side's going to rejoice for each other. So we got some work to do, and I can't honestly say that it'll be everybody's high-fiving if Biden wins from coast to coast. So everybody's going to be high-fiving from coast to coast. They're not going to forget about what happened the day before. There's some work to be done, and we're coming into a different paradigm in politics in this country. It's going to be some tough days ahead.
So
I was going to say I agree. I just think that the Democratic Party, they always use the same games over and over again. They promise so much, and then if they get elected, they just shut the door. They don't care. I mean, Biden's been in office for so long, and I think they're just trying to get the numbers up. I really do. And I think the only way that there is change on either side is always through education. Unless we start educating everyone on what is right and what's wrong, and educating the schools, about the truth and the history books, then we will actually see real progress. I really don't think a president, like you said, either way is going to help either side. And unless we start to educate, and not have the fluff that we have in the history books, because there's a lot of misleading stuff in the public school education that suppresses, racism, and races, throughout history, and that's not right. We have to spread the facts and educate and show the history. Like Brandon always talks about Tulsa back in the day. That was one of the best economies. It was Black Wall Street. Where everyone was having so much success, and it is not taught in the public school system. It's not. It talks about Christopher Columbus. He was an awful human being. It's just like if these things that are uncomfortable to talk about, if we don't educate what really happened, then then it gets lost. History is written by the winners. And we have to spread the light on education. And unfortunately, it gets politicized every time. Especially on key elections, like all the shootings with the police officers and that as Brandon said, the heavily melanated people, it's all in swing states. If you notice, they're always politicizing it, always. And if this is my personal opinion, if Biden gets in, and that's why he was running for, I really don't think he's going to change anything about it. He just is happy he got the support.
Well, I definitely think the Democrats, are not particularly for my particular community, and they never have been. It's all been a political ploy. I think, I think really, either way, we're kind of screwed. The thing I don't want is, which is bad for business. I don't want the start of a race war, and it's American on American, which is senseless. So
no, I don't see that helping anyone. I mean, America's browning. The millennials are mixing. It's not America of the 50s and 60s. It's not that. People are changing. People are coming together, and you can't. A race war would be a hard thing. I mean, the people that think they don't have the advantage, they might find themselves to be outnumbered. And you look at, as far as the guns available in America, it's got 400 million registered gun owners in America. I mean, that's not counting the ones that are illegal. So to stir that pot, to take the guns, to start a race war, all that. This country would just self-destruct. It would implode. And I don't think that the powers that be, they want to see that happen. We would try to put a lid on that before it came to that. There's going to be some hurt feelings. There's going to be some sore butts after the election, but they'll get over it.
Who do you think? This is the next. Who do you think will be the sorest loser?
The sorest loser?
Like, so tomorrow, let's say the day after tomorrow, Biden's elected president. Do you think those right-wing groups are going anywhere anytime soon, or vice versa? You think if they announce a comeback victory for Trump, do you think those Democrats are just going to lay down and let's fight again in the next 4 years?
It's the same way to say it described earlier. I think the Republican Party of today is no longer the Republican Party that you can recognize pre-Trump. Right. It is the party of Trump. Now, we're at a part in history where the Republicans from old are going to decide that they, may take some lessons out of Trump's playbook. And
I think that particular realm is going to be there. Not to cut you off, but I think a little bit of Trumpism is going to be there within the party.
It's going to be there, but at the same time, are we going? If Trump's gone, are we going to re-elect another Trump or something? Someone as even what people will perceive to be worse than Trump. You know what I'm saying? As far as he's not exactly a people person. He would, in some respects, he'll call you out, if he chooses to.
Well, he's not really a uniter.
It's not.
He's more. He doesn't have the tact, TACT. As even myself, I can see. We are more tactful on this panel than Trump would be.
Yeah, well, we can agree to disagree on all things. It's just that if there's something that he doesn't agree with, I mean, he's going to let you know he doesn't agree with it, and he's probably going to do something about it, and it may not, it might hurt some people's feelings, and it might just get. He don't care. He'll burn the bridge.
The point. This is what I don't like. I like, this is my personal opinion. Again, I'm not telling you who I pulled the trigger for, and not saying that would cause me to not vote for him. But the thing I dislike about Trump is the moral aspect. The president is supposed to be a role model. And I see a lot of people, especially in business. I'm in business all the time. I deal with business people trying to mimic his bravado. And
becoming emboldened. They're emboldened by his behavior.
Yeah, by being emboldened and just being, what's the facetious to people? Like that's going to get you somewhere, and it's anti-me. I'm all positive energy daily. I'm Mr. Positivity. That's where that's how I got to where I am, being successful.
So
you don't have to be facetious in order to be successful. And this is what I don't like, the picture that Trump paints, that, hey, I got to be quote unquote a douchebag, and I got to be a quote unquote dick to other people in order to, because my president's like that, and I think that paints a bad picture, especially the youth people. I see people daily trying to mimic this guy. Like, man, I guarantee you, 4 or 5 years ago, you wouldn't have approached a situation like this. You know.
Hey, go ahead, Steve. I want to hear your opinion.
I was going to say, I'm not sure if it's on either side who's going to be upset. I think if Trump wins, the media will be very upset, and the establishment will be very upset. And I think if Biden wins, they're going to be happy, And I like to use the analogy that, like, Trump, I think, did do his best at the very beginning, and then he has staggered away a little bit. But, like, if you go back, the media always praised Obama, always like, oh, look, it's Obama in the front yard with his 2 little puppies, like hanging in, taking photo ops. Oh, look, it's Obama playing basketball in the back court of the White House, And then if it's on the other side, it's like, oh, Trump's going to go play golf this weekend, oh, look, he's not running the country, or if he had animals, it's like, they're like, oh, look how ugly his dog is, And it's that reverse mechanism that they're trying to just slander because they don't like his approach to the Orthodox. And the Orthodox goes like it's partisan. The Orthodox, you have the rhinos and you have our left globalists. They're the same party. They fight both sides. I think it was when the directors who did Fahrenheit 9/11, he even said on national TV that John McCain was the king of the deep state, or the president of the deep state, when he died, And so it's these things that the media and the establishment and the way that they project on how they want to run the agenda, Agenda 2021 was written in 1992, and it's exactly how it's happening as it is today. And they will do, if Trump wins, they will still slander and smear, and they'll do the campaigning. Because I asked the lady one time.
Can I ask you something? If the Democrats take the Senate, all right, and Trump takes the presidency, how long do you think Trump will last as our leader?
I'd say he would probably make it, but it'd be a lot harder to pass the agendas, because you have to remember in the first 100 days he had control of or 180 days, he had control of the House and Senate. He was able to pass everything he wanted to with ease. And ever since then, it's been a lot harder to get his policies passed. And that's why we haven't seen a lot of the policies that he had promised passed, because of the division. So it would be a lame duck session for, he might not be.
I'm talking about January 21st. Yeah. I'm talking about if he wins, legitimately, if he wins and he's sworn in, and the Democrats take the Senate,
yeah.
And the Senate was the same Republican Senate that could be now a Democratic Senate that refused to hold his hand to the fire, not saying he was right or wrong in the impeachment trials, but if that same party is gunning for him, and they're angry over the election, and he has, this guy he can freaking blink his eyes sideways probably at that point. They're going to impeach him.
Yeah, but so I know what you're saying. It looks really bad when they try to do it twice in 2 years. And I think the people wouldn't have it, because like they could impeach him for anything. And it is a scary thought. And he was just...
So I don't see a good scenario either way, unless he wins unless the Republicans remain in control of the Senate and Trump wins the presidency. I think he has a rocky road ahead of himself January 21st.
I do too. I really do think that they could.
He could win the presidency if that happens. It's a narrow road right now, judging with the states, but polls can be wrong. It was wrong last time in 2016.
But the day of the election.
Well, they could be wrong, but we got a lot of factors right now outside of the mail-in votes. And man, they got the weather's terrible out here. People are afraid of COVID. Long lines with your elderly people. You got to depend upon millennials to show up to the polls. It's a lot of hanging threads right there. That the wind's got to blow perfectly, man, and for it to be a concrete thing. Now, for it to be a close race, and we counting votes until December, I don't know. But if the Senate does not remain Republican, and he gets sworn in as president, his days are numbered, in my opinion. And I think that's calculated into the market. And so both things have to happen simultaneously. So if Biden gets in there, I think that's going to be a blue wave. I think it's going to be a blue wave. I think if he gets in there, it's going to be a blue wave. I don't see the Republicans keeping control of the Senate right now. If you see what's going on right now with Lindsey Graham, with that guy in North Carolina, what's his name? I forgot. He's not going to. I don't think he's going to retain that seat. There's a couple seats out there that's up for grabs. And
yeah, I mean, Lindsey Graham's a rhino too, man. He's a snake in the water. I don't like that guy. But anyway, I get what you're saying. It is important. If there is a blue wave, though, they would have to be very careful, because if they come for the guns,
I don't think that. I mean, I don't think they.
No, I think that's a conspiracy theory.
I think that's something that is being driven by.
That's a right.
QAnon and
conspiracy theory.
And we are the last free country now.
I mean,
but I don't think
you got 400 million. You got 400 million registered gun owners.
Come on.
You got something like 330 million, 340 million citizens.
Yeah.
You got more guns than citizens. We're the most heavily armed country probably in the world.
That's why
it's
hated.
Now, what Biden will do, it was probably federally legalized marijuana.
Maybe. I mean, I support it. I honestly think Trump supports it too, in my opinion. But
his base doesn't.
But the old Republicans don't either, and that's a big problem.
Right. So it'll never happen.
Well, we're not worried about all old Republicans. It's the party of Trump. Right. They all get in line with what Trump stands on. So if he gets back in there, of course he'll be more effective in his presidency. And then we have to cross the threshold of the Senate. So if the Senate, he doesn't have control of the Senate.
Well, yeah, I mean, because I do think that there is a good chance we lose the Senate. Like, I'm actually more afraid of losing the Senate than the presidency at this point, because I do think he's going to win tomorrow, and I can't see the Senate going blue for sure. Like, that's
so if the Senate goes blue,
high probability.
They'll pull up something that they don't agree with that he did 6 months, a year ago, and they're immediately on. And they're going to hit him with some paperwork, and the process is going to play out. And they will be successful in this attempt because they are the ones to execute it.
But it would cause us.
Real quick, we're over the hour mark real fast. I know the time flies.
Hey, look, I'm enjoying this. Keep it going.
I told you was nervous at one point. Like I said, it's just like having a conversation, but it's up. I can see your facial expression. Two more questions. This is really the meat of why you're here. Let's talk about, and this is for our audience, because our audience is mainly business owners and nerds and stuff like that, and people that just try to better themselves spiritually. But I want to talk about how if either side wins, specifically. How do you get the market? What are your picks, winners and losers, to make some money?
Like that industries?
Yeah, industries and stocks. Next 4 years under Biden, how do I make some money? Next 4 years under Trump, how do I make some money? Whether it be stocks, whether it be
in my opinion, you cannot stop the wheels of technology from turning.
Yeah.
So as much as we, a lot of the parties screaming about fracking, oil and gas, you got companies like what is not a great stock, Nikola. I'm saying like that, but the concept
I invested.
is forward thinking. The
Right.
concept is forward thinking. What they're trying to do, Helion, what they're trying to do with the commercial trucks,
Right.
and making them more fuel efficient and less dependent upon diesel. In Tesla, people don't realize, man, Tesla stocks at like $400, right?
Mhm.
You look at something like Ford. Ford is they
32.
invented they know it's about $7 or
Okay.
something like that. I look it up right now.
Mhm.
They invented the automobile, and Tesla's leaps and bounds. They can't hold a candle to Tesla. And Tesla, in means of production, they're only putting out 500,000 cars per year, and they're building facilities in Germany. They're building facilities in in um, in Texas, and they're going to ramp that up to about 2 million cars by 2023. And that's not even scratching the surface. A lot of people don't even drive a Tesla. Most people don't drive Teslas, but we're leaning toward that, and you can't stop that. So if you want to be forward thinking, hey, Trump's in there for 4 more years. What about 5 years from now? What about 6 years from now? What you want to get on that sort of
How do we make
investment
some
situation?
money in 2021 and 2022?
2021. Look, I
Break
do believe.
it
I
down
do
for our
believe.
audience. 2021.
I tell you this.
How I make some money?
I do believe
2021
if Trump's in there, you can see oil and gas come back.
Right.
I can see him propping up oil and gas. Some recovery stocks, which I would typically stay away from. I would stay away from anything that's brick and mortar. I will particularly like things that's asset light. Basically, I wouldn't want anything that you look at Uber, their transportation company. They don't own any cars. You look at something like Airbnb, a hospitality company. They don't own any properties. Asset light in that situation. But if you're looking at like malls, something like Simon Properties Group, they probably would do pretty good for you moving forward. You're looking at airlines. I would go with Southwest. On a recovery.
They just
Delta.
sorry, Southwest is a good one because they just opened up the hub at Houston's Bush International, and they haven't done that in like 50 years.
We're looking at. I more or less observe their financials. I'm looking at the books. I'm looking at their room for expansion and growth. When we're looking at Southwest, I think they have the strongest opportunity in the market. And the airlines, period, because they're not socialized. We need the airlines. We all need to fly somewhere at some point in time. If in your lifetime, you're going to have to fly somewhere. So we can't afford. It's like the banks; they're too big to fail. The airlines are too big to fail, in my opinion. And right now, they're suffering. They need help. We need some type of stimulus. We need something to infuse that market. And once that happens, and after the election is over with, I think you'll see some significant gains in the airlines, and some of the other recovery stocks under the Trump administration. Once again, if you went into a Biden administration, you look at more tech stocks and more environmentally friendly stocks. TAN, that's an ETF. iBuy. iBuy is it's an ETF that has stuff like PayPal in it, Peloton, Carvana, and all these different online retail companies.
Right.
About
weed stocks of Biden wins.
Well, your strongest weed stock, cannabis stock out there would be Canopy Growth.
The Canadian one, right?
Yeah, Canopy Growth. I would put my money on that, but at the same time, they've been kind of wishy-washy for years, man. They've been losing every quarter because they just don't have the support right now. They don't have that sort of expansion. I give you a gem that I keep my eye on for next year because I'm a sports fan. DraftKings or maybe Penn in 2021, when all of this is said and gone. I don't care who's president. You're going to make a fortune on those, because
DraftKings and all them.
Yeah, DraftKings is
DraftKings went public.
Yeah, DraftKings went public, I believe, April or May this year, something like that. In the middle of the pandemic. Yeah. They went public. I actually purchased them about a week or two after they went public, man. I wish I'd have bought more of it. I watched it go up. It went up into the 60s. I think I got in on it at about maybe about 18, 19 bucks, something like that initially. But it's fallen now. But, at the same time, I believe it's at 38, 35. Is it 35? But that's a good entry price. I do see that stock tripling in value, in my opinion. Penn, on the other hand, it surprised me. And I'm optimistic about it moving forward. I mean, it's the same sort of stock.
What is Penn?
It's a gaming stock. It's a gaming stock, same thing.
Yeah.
And we're looking at the ballot on tomorrow, where you got, I believe, don't quote me, almost like 30 states that has online gaming on their ticket. Mm-hmm. So all that's going to do is expand the opportunity for people to gamble online. And with that said, you want to get yourself involved with some gaming stocks. I don't care. I think who's president, you're going to make any immediate future. You look at cruise ships. That's what a lot of pent up frustration. People want to go on vacation.
Right. That's what I've been heavily in the casinos, the resorts, the cruise ships, the airlines. The only thing we disagree about is the movie theater. I think the movie's gonna come back.
I don't know about the movie theater, man. A movie theater is
50-50 at this point, Brandon. It's tough.
Yeah.
I don't think
Amazon is really putting together, putting a fight up against the movie theaters right now.
Social thing, just like you said, people got to fly. People got to go on dates. Where are they going to go on dates to?
They'll find other ways, man. We're going to hike. We'll do something.
And I think
people like to watch movies, man. It's a social fabric of our society. It's a fact. People like to watch movies, and I don't want to. A lot of females, I wish they would want to come straight to my house and watch a movie. That'll be great. Come on.
How about Top Golf? You know what I'm saying? That's interactive. That's not a movie.
Movies is a niche. It's just like, running. Whatever. People watch movies. People are movie buffs.
Well, you know what? America's Restaurant Cheesecake Factory. That's a great recovery stock. You can take your date to Cheesecake Factory. You get you some cheesecake, get some.
Well, it's dinner and a movie. It goes together. Peanut butter and jelly, dinner and a movie.
Well, dinner and another activity, man. You go to a concert. You look at Live Nation, StubHub, things like that. All those things we can't participate in now. They will come back in any economy after this COVID thing's over with. I mean, a lot of people, they're not buying. Ticket sales are down for concerts. You look at Six Flags.
Going anywhere. People love concerts. I don't think that's going anywhere.
That's not going anywhere.
Right.
Right now, it'll be a good time to get yourself involved in some stocks.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Now.
Go on. Sorry.
I'm just saying that Six Flags is not open year round. They're closed a certain portion of the year, typically open in the spring up into the fall, because nobody wants to be on a roller coaster in a 30-degree weather coming down a steep cliff. You know what I'm saying? They don't want that. But there's certain ones, I believe the ones in California, that might stay open year round. But historically speaking, that stock is going to fall in a fall anyway. And we're in a pandemic. We're up against a pandemic, a real shaky election season. And we're in what they call earnings season right now. They're putting out the numbers for the third quarter. You can probably pick it up at a bargain right now. And next year, you'll be happy you did. Trust me, once it comes back, it's going to come. The floodgates are going to open for a stock like Six Flags, in my opinion. So.
Right.
And I was just going to add too. Trump gets in I think that the military stocks go up, all the military industrial complex stocks go up. And I think if Biden wins, I think all the pharmaceutical companies stocks will go up. And I like commodities a lot too. I see gold still teetering, and
Well, gold is a hedge against the stock market, actually.
it is.
I mean, gold and bonds, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I was going to say, like, yeah, I think if Biden gets it, I think gold soars, and I think, honestly, in the next 4 years, even sooner, maybe the push for.
So you're saying that if Biden wins, gold is going to soar?
I think
because
so.
people, the impression is that if the market is in trouble, people will put their money in bonds, and people put their money in gold to protect their investments because they're afraid to invest into the stock market. So they're going to hide it, or they're going to duck it off into the gold and the bond market. But the bond market sucks right now.
It does,
you know because the interest rates are low. So the bond market sucks right now. But gold, I can see that.
I'm about the first thing Wednesday morning. That's what I had on my mind. I'm going to buy a whole bunch of bonds.
Well, have at it, my man. But we need to have a conversation off air. We can get you an itemized list of.
I'm going to buy municipal bonds, though. I'm going to buy a whole bunch of municipal bonds. I hope my financial advisor listening.
I think a push. I would be surprised in the next honestly, as soon as possible to the next 5 to 6 years, there will be a push for digital currency. I think on either side, and but I think the problem is that Bitcoin will always be there. It's really good, but I mean, I think the feds will try to create their own coin to be able to use, and they're keeping it quiet because they don't want to get out how
I think
over.
I think the entire craze behind fintech and digital currency is not. I think people not saying what you're saying is wrong and correct. I mean, I do see the promise in Bitcoin. It's just that I can't see on a global perspective, on a centralized banking perspective, that it'll ever be adopted and accepted as far as Bitcoin. But as far as the digital payments, we're doing it right now with Cash App, PayPal. Every Cash App, the guy cuts my grass. PayPal, with Visa, MasterCard, all things we buy on the internet. And what they're doing, they're using it to track your spending habits. So that's where they can know, where to put the goods and services in place and how to tax you. So if Big Brother's watching, they can know how to tax you. I don't know if it's leaning toward the elimination of the dollar or
I think because of what you just said just now. With the dollar, you can't track. I can't track your spending habits. Remember, it's all about technology.
Yeah, what they can't track is, but I mean, turning it into cryptocurrency. I believe what Steve was getting at. I don't believe that the government's going to develop their own cryptocurrency.
Right, but
I mean, as far as
currency,
digital money, we're doing that now. It's
right.
just
I'm talking about
it's being streamlined.
The Back to the Future, where it's the fingerprint or the chip that they have, where you scan the chip.
Watch a lot of sci-fi movies.
But we're that close. Elon Musk just put a brain chip in a human being. I mean, we're already there. We're already there.
I mean, believe it or not, that's coming down the pike. I mean, you have a chip in your fingerprint.
Well, we got this Apple Pay thing going right now. Everybody's got Apple phones, but then what about the people with Androids? You got to combat that.
Well, I think that's why it's going to go straight to. It's going to be a biology thing. They're going to merge the technology with biology.
They got some sort of I would say trial technology stuff going on like that in China. If you kind of dig deep enough, you can find some information on it.
That's what Hong Kong was all about. Yeah.
I can't hear you said, Steve.
That's what Hong Kong was all about. They're pissed.
Yeah. So I don't
read about Hong Kong before the coronavirus, and then you'll find some weird stuff.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up because we're at 1 hour and 20 right now. We usually double the amount we usually be at. Last question I want to wrap up with predictions. Let's go ahead with the predictions, man. Not saying who you voted for, but who do you pick tomorrow? And we're gonna hold you to that. We're gonna call you and say, I thought you said such was going to win, but who do you think is going to win tomorrow and why? I'll start off first. I think Biden's going to win, and the reason why I say that is because I think it's going to be closer than expected. I think we're going to have more of a 2004 type feel, whereas it's not going to be announced tomorrow. I think it's going to be announced maybe like the following day or a week later. But I don't think he's going to concede. I don't think Trump's going to concede at all. I think they're going to have to just call it, and I don't think he's going to try to leave. I think they're going to have to kick him out.
Well, if he doesn't leave, if that is the case, and that's when we will see the pot bubble over, as they say. I mean, it's just not if they try to remove him by force, if that were to be the case, then we can see some real nasty things in the streets of America, because he does have a strong base and a strong following, and these people have proven that they're willing to go to bat, and they're going to stand up for their president. And I don't foresee it going very well if that were to happen. If he doesn't concede and they try to remove him from office in any sort of way that would be considered to be forceful.
Well, I think his ego won't let him concede.
He's a different kind of guy, man. He's a different type of president. We haven't seen a leader like him before.
Especially not tomorrow night. I guarantee you, if it's a landslide, he won't concede. He's gonna say it's rigged.
Possibility.
Possibility. But I don't think they're gonna call it tomorrow night. I think it's gonna be so close because you got.
Well, I'll tell you this: the person who, if Trump does not win Florida, Texas, and Pennsylvania, all three, not just two out of those three.
Well, that's the close because he's leading.
No. I don't care.
Or he's leading Texas.
I mean,
yeah. I don't see a path for him if that shit is Florida league. Excuse my language.
He could definitely win. He could definitely win Texas. Florida's probably in the bag, and he could definitely win Pennsylvania.
And I think he loses.
If he doesn't sweep all three of those, one of them out the bunch, it's gonna be the package. It's not that much light at the end of the tunnel.
He's in play. It's within the margin of error for all three of those.
Biden's leading by 4. He's leading by 4 in Pennsylvania. I believe he's leading by.
Tighter than that.
Huh?
I think it's like.
I just looked at the polls before we got on. He's leading by 4. I'm looking at it from a different perspective, from an investor's perspective. I know some people looking at it for political reasons. Right. I'm trying to learn how to survive in any political environment.
Right.
Rather, who's president? You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter if Biden's in there, if Trump's in there. I want to be able to go about my business and move forward in any economy. I just want to know how to approach it.
Who do you think and why?
So I love politics. So I play college maps. I know it's really weird, but I think Trump's going to win. I really do. I think it's going to surprise everyone. Either he's going to win by a huge margin, like you said, he went to all the states. But I think it might be actually closer than people think. I think he loses Pennsylvania, but he can still win if he holds Georgia, North Carolina, and Michigan. If he gets Florida and Texas and Arizona, loses Nevada, and loses Pennsylvania and holds Michigan and Florida, in North Carolina, in Georgia, he wins.
Let's see what's going on. Michigan, why I think Michigan is kind of, I don't know. We got the recent events with the governor, all right, the governor of Michigan. We got the Flint water crisis that hasn't been addressed, all right.
But that didn't affect 2016.
Dude, it's today. And he's president.
He still with Trump 16, right?
Well, look, man, it's a different day. It's a lot of things, a lot of turbulence in that state of Michigan, and it's going to be hard for him, in my opinion, to hold Michigan. It'll be easier for him to get North Carolina than Michigan, in my opinion. But I don't know if North Carolina's in the cards for him.
Yeah, North Carolina not even play no more, I think.
I think he's
said
going
it
to
could
win
be
North
close.
Carolina. I really do.
I think North Carolina. I think Biden's up like 8 points or something like that. What was the poll say?
Yeah,
I
but
don't have them in front of me, but I'll
They're
tell
like
you this:
8 points already.
Texas, Florida, and Pennsylvania. He has to keep all three. He doesn't keep all three, the rest doesn't matter. He doesn't keep all three, the rest doesn't matter.
and if he wins,
He can keep two of them. He loses one of them. That's it.
Who do you think? Who do you think? So we can go ahead and end the show.
In my opinion, it's going to be close for Trump tomorrow. It will surprise me. It will surprise me with the polls we have today and where we're at right now. It will surprise me if he walks away victor after this is over with. Now, hey, I've been surprised. I've been surprised before. Yeah, I'll be surprised if Trump.
Why Biden? Just because of the polls?
Because he has that message of he's trying unity, and he's giving people the impression that he's coming in to. He's not. His plan is no different than any other politician. It's not like in my opinion, he's going to push us to higher heights, and it's just that, like I said, we're in a time in 2020 when it's been a horrific year, man. Things has happened. We had so many hurricanes that I can't name in the Gulf of Mexico. So we've got so many millions of people that's out of work, and I'm basing it upon the market, right? If an incumbent president is faced with this sort of disaster leading into election day, historically, if you're on the side of history, he's not going to get elected. But hey, he's Trump. He's a different type of guy. He can happen.
I think it's gonna be close, but I don't think he'll pull a rabbit out of this hat.
It's gonna be tough, man. It would surprise me. Now, if we were sitting a little bit stronger,
if this dude Trump win, he's the all-time coldest.
The media lies, man. You'd be surprised.
Well, I'm not looking at the media. I'm not looking at the media. I'm looking at the market. The media aside, political reasons aside, I'm looking at the pulse of the market. And when you're looking at the market is crashing, there's a lot of uncertainty. People it's going red every day, man. And you don't need that going to the election. I mean, because a lot of people lost billions of dollars. A lot of corporations closed down. It's unfortunate that it happened on his watch. All right. But it's just the luck of it's just the way it happened, man. The market, I think, has more influence on who's going to be president than it is the American voters. Right. Because we need businesses to employ our citizens.
Well, this is a consumer-based economy.
Yeah, we're consumer-based.
We go flat.
Yeah. So there's no circulation right now, and it just happened on his watch. Like I said, it could have happened at any president. It just happened on his watch. And I believe that it's an uphill battle. It will surprise me in this current state of the market.
If he do,
that he wins, but I could be wrong. I'll patiently wait to know exactly which way to move forward.
I think he wins tomorrow. I really do. I think he pulls another upset.
So I'm not a gambling man, but you willing to gamble on that, Steve?
Yeah, I really think it's gonna. I really do think it's gonna shock, and I'm not just trying to say I'm like a hardcore Trump supporter, but I mean it's just like I really do think he's gonna win. I do.
I will say this: we're in a different sort of election, so we got all these mail-in and absentee votes, right? So we got a lot of Republicans going to show up to the polls tomorrow, and they're going to cast their ballots. They're going to cast their vote. There's two different sides of this, right? We've got record turnout. So a lot of people's already cast their ballots. Mm-hmm. But then on the other hand, we got all these mail-in votes. So on one, we can look at it and say, "Oh, Trump's leading in this state and this, he's getting all these, he's ahead." But they haven't touched any of the votes mail-in ballots. So I know there's a big dispute in Pennsylvania about that. But hey, there's mail-in ballots all over this country. So a lot of people may be misled to believe that after the election, they stole it from him. So if Biden wins, it's going to be a landslide victory. It's not going to be close. If Biden wins, it's going to be a landslide victory. You know, it's not going to be close because it's not going to even be up for argument or discussion at the end of tomorrow. He's going to not. If Trump loses Florida, if he loses North Carolina, you know, if he loses Pennsylvania, Texas, any one of those states, man, if you see two of them go down.
But let me ask you this: what do you feel about the Bradley factor?
Oh, you know, you're saying with the remind me of that again. We talked about
the Bradley factor was in the 80s, where there's a silent majority that they lie to polls, meaning that they're embarrassed, they're socially embarrassed that they're Trump supporters, so they won't come out and say that they're going to vote for Trump. But when it comes down to it, to cast their ballot, that's what happened last time.
All right, so do you believe the popular vote is going to win him or the electoral college?
No, he'll win the popular vote.
Okay, so we're so all these people that's coming out to vote, those are the popular voters.
No,
it's based on
voters. It's going to turn up and turn out. That's what's going to turn up tomorrow.
They turn out. They can turn out in record numbers.
No, they go about to turn up tomorrow. That's the people. That's why I said it's going to be close. Because they got that majority coming out. The real voters. I'm talking about that. You know, with the flags and all that on the car. They coming out. They're gonna barbecue.
I do believe there's going to be a lot of support on both sides out there tomorrow.
I think we just shot our bullet. Poof. I think we just shot our load.
I don't know. That remains to be seen.
I think what happened is the majority of what they quote unquote call minorities, but I don't know if the minorities is the majority or not, but I think they've already voted. I think the people, the real hardcore coming out the woods, they're gonna come out that woods tomorrow and they're gonna tighten the polls up.
They're gonna close that gap.
They're gonna close that gap.
They're gonna close that gap.
That's why it's gonna be so close, too close to call tomorrow. That's just my prediction. I don't see landslide.
If Biden wins, it's going to be a landslide. If he wins, it'll be a landslide. It'll be a landslide victory. If it's close, if it's a close election, I say if it's a close election after the votes are finished counting, then Trump will come out victorious.
I think Biden's still going to edge him out, but I think it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be landslide.
If it's a close election, Trump will win. If it's otherwise, Biden's got to hit with a landslide.
Yeah, and I think too, like just Trump is Trump, and my feelings about him. I think he might be the greatest actor of all time. He's just hedging his bets, man, like a good businessman.
Nicholson and all them.
Oh, he's a great actor, man. He knows what to say, when to say, but he's always a businessman. He's part of the elite, and I do believe that, and. He knows how to act. He knows how to act, and I think he's going to be able to act his way into the White House again.
You believe that?
It's going to be tough for him, man. I don't see a way he can pull it out.
We'll know by midday tomorrow. I mean, they're going to
midday.
I do believe by midday. Not that
you talking about Wednesday. You talking about.
We'll know what direction it's leading, if it's going to be a landslide or a tight race.
You guys want to hear a fun fact, though, real quick? That I knew Trump was going to win last time the day before, and it's because Hillary Clinton canceled her fireworks show the night of at like 2 a.m. before the day of. She canceled her New York City fireworks show. So there's little clues like that. Can I also tell you ahead of time?
Would Biden cancel this time?
I'm not sure how to look today. I have to check.
I think Biden's about to get
Obama was surprised he won re-election too. He was sitting at I'll never forget. He was sitting at the White House with his. He's like, man, we won again.
Well, man, I think
so he was surprised.
Like at 6 o'clock, they called 12 before I even got home.
So,
You know, so Obama was the earliest that I ever seen. Both times they called
yeah,
Obama.
but he was
late.
surprised because Mitt Romney was running a good campaign with his Mormon, and I freaking hate Mitt Romney, man. He's a freaking quacker, man, and like he's just the same way he
And
has
Romney
to.
was that candidate. You know,
Yeah.
they let he did Obama did the Trump stuff before Trump. He painted Romney as something that he not necessarily was, or maybe he painted himself with that. He painted himself as a elitist, and people don't like that.
Yeah,
Trump is so good of a salesman.
that's why he's a good
He,
actor.
yeah, he painted himself, even though he's a leader, he painted
People
himself
buying
as
what he's selling right now.
Yeah.
The thing about it is you can't shovel that to a lot of folks when they're hurt. When they're hurting, people they're not gonna swallow that when they're hurting.
But they remember that they were doing good though before the craziness because the pandemic was.
He
Like
said
I said, it's unfortunate because this would have been tough for any president. This entire pandemic would have been tough for any president. It's just that when they failed to pass a stimulus package, they only gave people $1,200 in the last 5 months or something like that. The PPP ended in August. There's businesses closing their doors every day. You know, it's not looking good for the economy right now.
Right.
We're not looking at forward thinking.
But this is
I'm
the thing.
thinking forward thinking because I'm an investor.
Right.
Other
I got you. This is
everything
the
personal,
thing.
everything gloom and doom today.
Not to cut you off, but this is the problem. All those people don't take action. The people that support Trump take action.
I do believe it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. I understand people are hurting, but they run their mouth.
And the millennials are meetings.
This is the premise of our show. This is what we talk about all the time on the Power of Ownership podcast. We talk about if you running your mouth as opposed to taking action. And the people that support Trump, watch them tomorrow.
I do believe they're going to show up and show out.
And that's why
I just don't see him having a path if he loses any one of those 3 states.
This is the essence. I
Now,
know
if he loses any one of those, if he wins those states,
I think he's
hang it
gonna
up.
tomorrow, but I think it's gonna be so tight that they're not gonna call it tomorrow. And the reason why I think it's gonna tighten.
If they don't call it, it's only if Biden wins and they don't call it on a tight election, tight races because they're afraid of civil unrest. That's the only reason why they wouldn't call it.
No, I think they're gonna have to count some votes. It's gonna be that tight.
It's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be a show, man.
I think it's gonna be that tight. And the reason, let me finish my bill.
We're talking about this is a Mike Tyson fight, man.
The reason why, because all the people that's complaining ain't gonna hit the polls. They're gonna sit back and watch. All they do is complain. You don't take action. If you want to, oh, my vote don't count. Oh man, all this. They're not gonna hit the polls. They didn't register. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. All they're gonna do is complain. That's the factor. Plus the people that's doing stuff also they didn't admit on the polls that they Trump because they want to be friends. They want to have LeBron is still their favorite player. You know, they're still friends with the black guy at work. So they don't want to admit they support Trump. But they do.
I don't think all Trump supporters are racist.
No, they're not racist.
I don't believe all Trump supporters are racist.
The media is painting
that they
racist. So they're trying to make it socially unacceptable for you to like Trump.
They do perpetuate that image.
Right.
And
that's why the polls lie. Because the dude that's the millennial, like Stephen H., he don't want to. Stephen's bold. Most millennials won't admit they like Trump.
Oh, I know quite a few people that like Trump, and it doesn't matter. I'm not what age group or what's their background, what their cultural background is. I know a lot of people like Trump.
But you got to admit
by the position we're in the market right now. I just think it's a tough sell for him.
But is that a thing or not? Is that a thing? People are ashamed that they go for Trump. Is that a thing?
You shouldn't be ashamed of who you support.
But is that a thing?
I think it's a thing.
I find a lot more people shy away from putting a bumper sticker on or signing their front yard.
Same thing with the polls, especially if you got my information. If it's anonymous, then they'll tell you the truth.
Well, you can do a litmus
That's
test.
why he lost. That's why they lost last time.
You can do you can look and see how many Twitter supporters for Trump and how many Twitter supporters for Biden, or you can look how many Facebook followers. You know, you could do a social media test right now. You can just go on your social media and you can see he has an enormous following, but then some people will say because they're being entertained by his antics every day. You know, they're tuning in a sense. That's necessarily their followers.
The thing, if it was a majority wins, the Republicans would have no chance. The problem is with the Electoral College, that rural area is going to be red. That heartland of the country is going to be red. The problem is when those battleground, what they call a battleground states, they have this social thing of I'm around you guys, but I'm not going to display my political views. I don't agree with you politically.
We just said that we're not going to talk about politics,
but that's what's happening.
Race, religion, or sexual orientation in public places.
That's why they're swing states, and that's why they're battleground states, because it's a lot of mixture. It's urban, but they're not going to admit I have the same values as this guy in Idaho.
Mm-hmm. I tell you one thing: Trump gets reelected. That's the inner Republican Party of old. It's Trumpism from here on out.
No doubt.
And the next guy is going to be a mirror image reflection of Trump, or some people may. But it's the thing is America or Americans ready for that? And you say the populists are not, you know, and that's when we're going to have that implosion, because if the majority of the actual citizens are not ready for that, and you know the members of the Electoral College are, I mean that's a tough sell, man. Now we got a lot of friction in society. You're gonna have a lot of that.
What we were talking about earlier, nobody was feeling me. Is that, you know, how as far as Trump, as far as not, you know, uniting the country, it's gonna be a problem. We just kicking the can down the road.
This is why it was like a signal to me that the old Republicans are not exactly in Trump's corner on some ways, in some respects. Mitch McConnell had an opportunity to lead the Senate to a deal where he could have had a home run stimulus package. I don't care. Well, what's more money? $200 more billion or whatever it was. They were like $100 billion, $200 billion off their number to pass the bill with Nancy Pelosi. She stood firm. She stood tall on it because I think she kept moving the goalpost. But at the same time, if they wanted to get it done, they could have got it done, and he could have had that victory leading into the election. The market would have soared, and no one could point the finger at that point. But they didn't. And my question is, were they working together? Because they're targeting the president.
Right,
were they working together? You know what I'm saying? Because
we gotta have a part two to this, man.
They will always choose the politics over the people.
Right. Yeah. Not to cut you off.
I don't think the Republicans in the Senate, in the House, there's a division there. They have a problem internally inside the party, and they're not siding. You know, in the presence of the president, yeah, they will, because they're afraid of the backlash. But behind closed doors, they have their own agendas. So they had an opportunity to really drive this thing home way back in September. You know, when he first started talking about, or August, when the first package expired. Man, if people weren't talking about all this pandemic and the PPP and the stimulus and the airlines, if all this stuff was bubbling over, it would be a no-brainer. This guy went, and he had an opportunity. My question is, why didn't they take advantage of their opportunity when he had it?
He tried to pull that executive order, but
it wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to work. So if they knew that they, you know, basically that the House had, you know, the upper hand on them in that respect, okay, I'll let you win this one, but I'm gonna win. You know, you can win this one little battle, but I'm gonna win the war. You know, I'll give you that. You know, it's more money than I want to spend for it, and I've passed this bill. Okay, but all it's going to do is make us look good because we're the sitting Senate with a sitting president, and Trump could go along and do his rallies and brag upon that, and it's going to lift up his base. But he didn't do it. My question is, why didn't they do it? Are they working against him, the Republicans and the Democrats? Because they're letting him fall, man. They're letting him fall, and it's happening. It's coming from within.
Well, I think that's my point as well. I think there are sections of the party that want him out of there, and there is the blue wave as well that want him out of there. But
the candle's being burnt at both ends on him, so that's why
they're underestimating.
Going to win.
They're underestimating this power block that he got, and he got a block of people that don't matter what he does. He said it himself. He could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue, and I think they're gonna turn up and they're gonna turn out tomorrow. And I don't think he wins, but I think he's gonna tighten up.
If I was a Republican, I'd be more worried about retaining control of the Senate.
Well, I think
it's not going to happen. I don't see that happening. But at the same time, it was the Senate that chose to stand down due to the impeachment process in 2019. So if that happened, 2018 or 19, I forgot. Here's the thing: it's going to happen again. They're coming for him. All right, so he can get reelected, and they're going to find a reason.
But he plays
to put him back in a hot seat.
Yeah, he plays chess while everyone else plays checkers.
I don't know if he's that smart. I don't think he's that smart.
He's got to keep the Senate and he's got to keep.
Yeah, I don't think he's that smart.
If he doesn't keep both, his days are numbered regardless. Rather, he's voted out on election day or he's impeached out of 2000.
You know why Trump's so slippery so they can't nail him down? Because I think our country, which was founded by a lot of brothers, we didn't write a lot of stuff down. We didn't think we needed to. And Trump's so slippery. If it's not written down, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So he has the boldness to go where nobody's gone before. And morality down.
Interpreted. There's subject to interpretation. Laws, and we all
right. And he'll go there. He'll go there where nobody else will go. So that's what makes him so bulletproof.
Steve, I did well in the Trump administration in the market. Okay?
Yeah,
everyone did in the stock market.
I did well, but at the same time, I have to be realistic. I have to be realistic about from where I stand. Politics aside, I just think it's a tough sell. Not saying that he can't win, or that I can't even call it that the economy will crash like he's predicting if Biden gets in there. I just think that people are going to shift it in the way that they invest.
I don't think that.
I just think the regulations come back and it wouldn't hurt.
I don't know. I think he did shine some light on some things that people weren't paying attention to. They were neglecting, as far as the NAFTA and as far as the Paris Accord. I think that Biden will get back in the Paris Accord, but
which is horrible.
Well, hey, that's what it's going to be. You can't win them all. All right, but as far as the moves he made on the economy, I can't see. It's almost like they're trying to repeal Obamacare. They tried 60 times. Pre-existing conditions, they tried 60 times. They're going to keep trying until they get it done or whatever, but it's tough. And the groundwork that Trump's laid is going to be tough to move away from. They're going to have to take a few pages out of his playbook and add it to what they got going on. You know what I'm saying? Either way. So that's just scare tactics. When it's, the economy is going to crash, I do believe we're going to be out okay regardless.
Right.
I just want to know which direction to go.
Well, it already started as far as the transference of wealth. So I think
transferring of wealth, yeah.
Yeah, it's already started. So I think people, the rich are just gonna get richer, the poor are gonna get poor, and it's because they didn't take precaution. We've been warning them since day one. To get good, you better start right now. But most people just don't take action. That's what it is in a nutshell. Most people are reactive, not
people,
proactive. It just is what it is. But
we're not
I
doing
it right there because we're running out of tape space. Let's go ahead and end it up. I'm gonna go ahead and do the outro. Y'all do your outros and tell them where they can find you. I'm gonna start with mine again. My name is Brandon B. Dixon. If y'all enjoyed the show, y'all want us to grow the show, go ahead and donate, man. Hit the cash app. The Power of Ownership $. Also, Steve. I know Steve about to have a lot of right wing supporters right now. That boy gonna have that big bread. Hit that cash app.
I mean, that'd be nice, man. Hey, 2036, man.
All the Trump supporters, hit Stephen Cash App. $ Stephen C1234. I know y'all.
I know where every country in the world is, man. Every country.
You know what I'm saying? Steve said he need a new house. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe a new Lamborghini. No, I'm just
go ahead. I watch Steve pull up with a Lambo. Yeah.
I'm making that political joke.
You know what I mean? So go ahead and hit Steve Cash App, man. He's all the Trumpers. Y'all got it. Go to www.hocmortgage.com. Like I said, I'm neutral. I ain't said who I voted for or not. So go ahead.
I think we can imagine. I think we can figure that out.
Nah, I mean, I'm neutral. I'm a registered libertarian. So
he wrote in Kanye West.
Huh?
You voted Kanye?
Huh? You wrote in Kanye West, right?
Nah, I mean, I can't tell you I voted for, but you can look me up. I'm a registered libertarian. So I've been there's no qualms about that, but like I said, I've been a libertarian since I was a teenager, so I might run for president as a libertarian candidate one of these days, you know what I'm saying?
Let me know.
2036.
Yeah, my platform gonna be the player life.
Player life.
You know what I'm saying? Polyandry gonna be my, more than one wife. I'm gonna make that legal. Just not in Utah. It's gonna be all 50 states.
All 50 states.
All 50 states.
Not in Utah.
It's nice out there.
Go to www.billionaireloanofficer.com if you want to book me for consultation, sales training, so on and so forth, motivational speeches, so on and so forth. Go to www.billionaireloanofficer, or you can call me 832-775-8357. Call me 24/7 if it's about business. Not to say, hey, what you doing? I mean, nah, I charge. Go to @BillionaireLoanOfficer on all social media, on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Or I just changed my Facebook now to where I'm accepting friends again. Brandon B. Dixon on Facebook, Brandon B. Dixon on the business and the personal page. Steven _ Contreras _ 90 on social media. Also, you can find him at Steven Contreras on Facebook. Steve, what you got coming up? Any events?
No, it's been kind of slow on my end, just waiting for the election, really, for businesses to see what they do, honestly. So.
Right. Ryan, what you got coming up? Anything you want to plug? Where they can find you on social media? Or, build up your social media presence?
You can find me at Ryan Gray at Twitter.
Ryan Gray? Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Any events or anything you got coming up you want to plug?
No, not at this time, man. I'm just kind of laying low.
Gotcha.
I'm on the sidelines watching to see what's going to happen, and we'll figure it out moving forward.
Well, it was great to have you on. Don't be a stranger, man. We'll probably have you back.
For sure.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, we got to do this again, man.
Leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget that God is a verb and personal responsibility is your only savior. With that, they'll say peace. Let me get that in the camera. Peace. So